Okay, guys, how are we doing today? So, as we continue to cover the Syrian situation over there, this gets interesting. So, how do I even start? Okay, so from roughly, do people really think we should go to war with NATO member Turkey? Trump defends Syrian withdrawal. Of course he does. The U.S. won't fight fellow NATO member Turkey over the Kurds in Syria, President Donald Trump has said, while also suggesting that Kurds may be releasing terrorist prisoners just to get the U.S. involved, as was said in the previous video. In early Monday, tweets defended his decision to hastily pull American troops and negotiators from the north of Syria, where Turkish military operation against Kurdish fighters is in full swing. Trump's critics have called the move a betrayal of the Kurds, who up to recently had been America's principal allies on the ground in Syria. Excuse me. Kurdish leaders have now turned to Damascus, striking a deal that will see Syrian government troops deployed to the area. Still, Trump doesn't think these allies are worth fighting another NATO member over. Do people really think we should go to war with NATO member Turkey? He tweeted, repeating the threat of big sanctions on Turkey. The Trumps read, Brian Kilmade, over at Fox and Friends, got it all wrong. We are not going to another war between the people who've been fighting with each other for 200 years. Europe had a chance to get their ISIS prisoners, but didn't want the cost. Let the U.S. pay, they said. Kurds may be releasing some to get us involved, easily recaptured by Turkey or European nations, from where many came. But they should move quickly. Big sanctions on Turkey coming. Do people really think we should go to war with NATO member Turkey? Never-ending wars will end. Well, if they'll end, then they're never-ending, are they? Well, I was just saying, dude. Like, grasp your English, man. Grasp it. Grasp your English. But the Kurds may be releasing some of the Islamic State, IS, formerly ISIS, prisoners, specifically to get the Americans involved. How many times are they going to change their damn name? ISIS, ISIL, ISIS, Islamic State. Trump speculated earlier, senior commander of the SDF, or Syrian Democratic Forces, the main Kurdish military force in the region, did say guarding IS prisoners will no longer be top priority in the face of the Turkish offensive. Separate Kurdish-sourced reports said hundreds of IS-affiliated prisoners already escaped when prisons came under Turkish fire. However, the escapees aren't a U.S. concern, Trump said, instead chiding Europe for missing the chance to get their ISIS prisoners earlier and for relying instead on the U.S. to pay the cost. Kurdish forces are reportedly holding up to 100,000 IS fighters and members of their families captured during operations in Syria. The operation in Syria has already pitted Turkey against its NATO allies, with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan implying that other alliance's members are supporting terrorists, the official Turkish alliance on Kurdish fighters instead of a fellow member state. Operation Spring of Peace saw Turkish forces cross over into northern Syria last week with the stated goal of advancing some 30 to 35 kilometers into its territory to clear it of Kurdish terrorists. Ankara says it wants to create a buffer zone to prevent Kurds from infiltrating into Turkish land. So they think that the Kurds are terrorists. Well, as I've said before, terrorism does not automatically denote you being a villain. It just means you use fear tactics. You use fear tactics instead of full-on military might. What it denotes is not a state of villainy, but rather it's almost like an admission that your enemy is actually stronger than you are, and you're resorting to fear and guerrilla war tactics to compensate for your lack of military might. Plain and simple. You don't have the force, you fall back on fear tactics. What makes them the villain is their long-term goal. Which, I really don't think that the Kurds are really going to try and do anything that would seriously harm Turkey. At least not in the sense of like wanting to just destroy the Turks. I suspect that the Kurds are under this deception that that is what Turkey wants. It's the sort of conflict where each one expects the other side of some mal behavior. They expect You know, oh, they want to destroy us. It's like, no, you want to destroy us. You know, it's one of those kind of situations. And really, just to clarify what I've been saying all along, the EU has been absolutely useless in this situation. They had some ISIS prisoners available, and they should have came and got them. Instead, they wanted the U.S. to pay for the transport of the prisoners. They wanted us to keep the prisoners for them. They do absolutely nothing. They make empty threats. The EU has been amazingly useless in this entire situation. So not only are they dirty globalists that want to make it a continental superstate, they're also full of hot air when it comes to foreign conflicts. Say everything, do nothing. That's the EU way, apparently. Go figure. Moving forward, Turkey says Kurdish forces emptied Islamic State prison in northeast Syria. This will be the last report on Turkey and Syria for today. There's a lot to talk about. Ankara, Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar said on Monday Syrian Kurdish YPG fighters had emptied a jail holding Islamic State prisoners in a part of Syria where Ankara is mounting an offensive, and that the prisoners there had been abducted. Turkey launched a cross-border operation against the YPG militia in northeastern Syria last week after U.S. President Donald Trump decided to withdraw forces from 2 posts in the area in a move that drew strong international criticism. The Turkish assault has prompted alarm that it could allow Islamic State or ISIS militants to escape Kurdish-run prisons in northeastern Syria and regroup. Ankara has dismissed those concerns. Of course they have. But does that mean that the concerns themselves are not in some way legitimate? I think they are. It's an entirely realistic scenario. Turkey claims that they're just defending themselves from the Kurds. The Kurds claim the same of the Turks. Who's really the aggressor here? Maybe it doesn't matter. Concerning their perceptions of each other. What matters is that there is indeed a very real chance that the conflict could result in ISIS fighters escaping from prison. I think that is a very reasonable concern on the part of the Kurds. But getting Turkey to listen to reason is like squeezing water out of a rock. Can't be done. Physically impossible. Turkey's stated objective is to clear its southern frontier region of the YPG, which it views as a terrorist organization, and form a safe zone 30 kilometers into Syrian territory, where it wants to settle millions of Syrian refugees. Ankara also pledged to take responsibility for IS militants within the safe zone, but said it would not be accountable for others. Speaking to reporters in Ankara on Monday, Akar said the YPG had emptied the only Islamic State prison that Turkish forces had so far reached in the envisaged safe zone area, and that the inmates had already been removed. As you know, there is a prison issue on this Daesh Islamic State topic. We determined to show the utmost effort on those prisons. However, there was only one prison in our region, a Daesh prison, Akar said. When we went there, we saw that it had been emptied by the YPG, and the Islamic State militants there had been abducted. We determined this through photographs and film, talked to our counterpart, and will continue to do so, he added. Akar did not say how many prisoners were believed to have been taken from the jail, nor did he elaborate on who had taken the prisoners and where. There was no immediate YPG comment. Trump, providing no evidence, tweeted on Monday that Kurdish forces might be freeing IS prisoners deliberately to lure U.S. troops back into the region. Escaped fighters could be easily recaptured by Turkey or European nations from where many came, but they should move quickly, Trump said. You know what, Turkey? I want to believe you because it makes sense. It all makes pretty good sense. And their claim also makes sense. But you know what? Photos or no dice. Show us the photos, Turkey, or no dice. Plain and simple. Show us the proof. The proof is in the pudding. Give us the damn pudding. But later on Monday, Turkish media broadcast footage of what is said was the prison emptied by the YPG in central Tel Abyad. Along the Turkish border, the footage showed Turkish soldiers roaming through an empty building with jail cells built inside. The fighting has raised Western concerns that the Kurds holding large tracts of northern Syria, previously controlled by Islamic State, would be unable to keep thousands of jihadists in jail and tens of thousands of their family members in camps. The region's Kurdish-led administration said 785 IS-affiliated foreigners escaped to Camp Ain Issa at the weekend. The UK-based War Monitor Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, citing sources in the camps that around 100 people had escaped. President Tayyip Erdogan dismissed the reports on Sunday, saying that the accounts of escapes by Islamic State prisoners were disinformation aimed at provoking the West. That could be. But the best they got is videos of their soldiers moving through an empty prison. Perhaps it was always empty. Simply put, show us the photos of the prisons being emptied, or no dice. Show us the proof. We can't trust either side at this point. We cannot trust the Turks, and we cannot trust the Kurds until we see something of substance. Otherwise, we should just stay the hell out of it until we've given something of substance. Now that we've pulled out, we might as well stay out. The way these two are acting and treating each other, forget it. Forget it. Show us the damn proof or shut the hell up. Both of you. Keep acting like this. It's not worth the effort in getting involved. But keep a close eye on Turkey. And if they try anything inappropriate, boom. Economic hammer. Just hit them with those sanctions. Make the lira worthless. But don't move an inch until something of substance is offered. Plain and simple. Anyway, peace!